to indicate that we're located in Swansea, not too far off of 195, and everyone's welcome. Give me a call and come on down, and we'll start the slideshow. Okay, it's the Swansea, Somerset and Warren Elevated Railroad. It's a G gauge, F scale, more or less, which is a narrow gauge, 3-foot representation of a raised garden railroad. Now, warning, it's only loosely based in reality, like its operator. I
have been described the same way.
It occupies the location of an old pool, and in the spring of 2017, actually in the fall, I realized I could no longer operate the ground level railroad, and thought that when I put it away in the fall, it was all over. But in the spring of 2017, my 3 grandsons, 16-year-old David, 14-year-old Matt, and 5-year-old Ryan, came out, and in 1 week, after we had the bench work delivered in a trailer truck from Home Depot, they assembled the entire raised railroad. The first, I'm sorry, that was me. Sorry, let me go back. Okay. The first problem was the original railroad, which was ground level. All of the plants were trimmed close to the ground. Now that we had a 29-inch high layout, and we had to bring the plants and trees, had to encourage them to grow up to that level. And you can see they've kind of filled in the last 2 years. But there's still a problem. What would be the prototype? New Haven? No, I don't think so. So we went into a little bit of a different type of a layout. Here you see the yard in Swansea. We have a commuter section. We have a tower. We have a freight house, an engine house, and water tower and diesel facilities. 44-ton diesel is passing a waiting armored train while the passenger station is preparing for the morning commuter rush. There's a sea of bluebells that kind of overran the old bed. And we're going to follow the morning milk train from Swansea through the hibiscus shed to the interchange with the old colony, and the first client in the railroad, the Dwarf mine, which is has a elevated railroad. Now, we use swing bridges. We have 2 swing bridges and 1 drawbridge. And I somehow have shrunk the. Did I do something wrong here? I did something wrong. I don't know what I did. For some reason,
you need to unzoom. You're zooming.
Unzoom. I got to find out where the zoom is. That's my problem. Where is the unzoom?
You must be doing it with the mouse somehow.
Oh, okay. Is that it there? Okay, there we go. So, garden railroading, you don't have to make trees and scenery, but you do have to weed every day. And that's a big. What's that, please? Okay, so as we move along under the hibiscus shed, which is right along here, it's necessary because the hibiscus drop these dead flowers on the track that glue to the track. The incline railroad services the ground level mine. My youngest grandchild, the 5-year-old, it took three or 4 weeks before he realized that, I'm gonna go back a little bit, before he realized that placing Sleepy as the armed guard was a bit of irony, but he got the joke eventually. You can also see my club car, a chowder tank car with little roadie emblems on it that was supplied by Mike Tylick. we'll move on now to the next one. There we go. So now we're going to go from the Dwarf Mine over the Coles River. You can see the swing bridge, the Coles River swing bridge. We'll go around Somerset Station to the Lees River Bridge and Mirkwood Forest. Here you can see the entrance to the train shed. That's the old Colony interchange, runs right into there. And we have a Providence, Warren, and Bristol Railroad interchange on the other side. Across the Coles River, it is the first Somerset, the first commuter station. And we have a bunch of characters. It sits on the edge of Mirkwood Forest, and it's a much more liberal town. You can just, you can't tell who's going to be on the platform. The skulking Gringotts banker on the, is commuting to work. He makes the trim and proper lady at the left end of the platform a little uneasy. On the other side, being shipped as freight is a mountain troll. Let me go back there a little bit. He's a mountain troll, is his handler and the his owner. They're waiting for freight. There's a bunch of characters on this station. And this is Dave's Music Shop in the corner. We have some, we have a back on side. We've got kind of representation of a village. On to the next. We head south through Mirkwood to Kiley Castle and the Orc Stronghold. Long ago, the abandoned castle, the railroad cut straight through the castle, knocked a hole right in it to save money. It's rumored that the Urukai and Mordor orcs have moved in lately. The castle is nearly invisible amongst the hydrangeas and hedge groves, as you see right here. The castle has is fairly well armed and pretty discreetly hidden. Now, at night, the orcs stack up the furniture instead of the pot, which disturbs the neighbors a little bit. But still, the railway still will make deliveries to the castle. Mutton's on the menu in this fellow's dining car upgrade. Just to keep gas. You can see the hydrangeas have done wonderful this year. One of the challenges in model railroading is that building track plants in temperatures of 100 degrees. Here we are moving further on south over the upper Cragmore Viaduct to Warren, the second commuter station, and the interchange with the Providence, Warren, and Bristol. You can see the bridge passes over the River Finn and its operating water wheel. We have the station is just above the Oriental Lilies, which were kind of short this year. They usually go a little higher. There's a couple of accountants waiting to take a train to Providence. The main street, the village is on the ground level. It's the only one that's like that. As we leave there, we're going to be heading up a 2% grade towards the Minion Village. During the season, the operating crews have to deal sometimes with snow, with fallen branches and debris, and sometimes even floods. But we managed to get through it. The main controls are operated from here, but there's a secondary control which also will operate the train from this side. We're going to possibly go into radio control soon. The Minion Village is just west of the interchange. It's got close to 40 minions in the village. They have a biplane airport. The rocket ship, rocket locomotive, is pulling their own munitions train up the grade. You can see the power unit here, and we've got a used Sherman tank, Tiger tank that was purchased, and a fighter plane. My granddaughter, when we set these characters up, decided that since the minions are rather incompetent, they're evil but incompetent, she decided that when they lashed down the cannon for transport, they would only lash down one side. So the other side is actually loose. It would fall off at one around the corner. You can see that they also have crashed their biplane. Here, we go around the bend to Maggie's Farm. It's famous for exotic hot peppers. And Maggie's Farm is in Rehoboth. It's a real farm run by my friend. He actually grows hot peppers. And I grow hot peppers around the Garden Railroad. These are New Guinea impatiens, which are thriving very well. The farm itself is on ground level. Cats occasionally will take away a cow. We lose about 1 or 2 a year to the local cats. Sometimes I find them, sometimes I don't. Now, we got one last hurdle, which is Entwood, before we get back to the station. But in the middle of this filming, we had a tropical storm warning, Storm Faye, with projected winds of 50 miles per hour. We had to make a quick decision of whether to take down the Garden Railway and secure for the storm or to ride it out. We decided to ride it out. We have our own weather station at track level, and we can withstand 40-mile-an-hour gusts. If you recall, that was the day of the meeting, our last meeting. It was a flop of a storm. This is Entwood Forest, a new addition. If you're a token reader, you would know where the Entwood's forest is. We have a local police patrol because they're a little bit angry about the expansion of the railroad into the woods. At Mike's advice, it is now tiered and it kind of blends right into the actual forest.
I'm looking at Dave Kiley's Garden Railway.
Yeah.
It's very all fantasy
We
stuff.
Here's another few views of the forest and the railroad.
Incredible.
All of my trees have
Minion.
figures in them. And I used to scare my little children, my little grandchildren when they were like a few months old, but eventually they caught on and would just laugh at it. But all of my trees are Ents. And we haven't had a lot of movement, but you can't tell. So you have to be careful in this area. Finally, we're back to the Swansea station, middle of tropical heat wave. Now, the characters are, which are about 3 1/4 inches tall, to 2 3/4 inches, depending on short people. They're dressed for fall, but it's about 90 degrees when I was taking this picture during the middle of the heat wave. You can see our tower here. We have 2 sidings for the station. The freight station and a passing track. This is the River Finn mountain branch. This is the Lonely Mountain is about 66 square feet above the Donegal Bay. Trains have to climb a 3.5% grade to get up Gordon's Hill. There's a riot erupting over cancellation of trains again, pitchforks and firebombs. This divides from the original Garden Railroad. The Troll Village is here, and this is the site of frequent chipmunk attacks. We've captured 9 of them so far. We'll take a ride on. Hopefully this will work. We'll see how it goes. But we'll give it a shot. The other branch that we have is the abandoned ground level Donegal County Railway branch. It's a dead rail. It's a tourist railroad. This is a picture of the last train on the cool of the evening. It was 86 degrees at night that night. This was a brutal summer to keep these flowers alive. But we've said this track that you see to the right here, is 22 years old. It's been on the ground continuously, and we're going to take a ride on it. See that the vegetation grown in. And the train station. This is the maintenance of way vehicles. We have to do snow removal. We have a rail grinder. This is a beautiful cleaning machine. Works fabulously. It's a G-Clean, and it's not self-propelled. It has to be pushed, but it does a fabulous job. We have a sweeper. Need that a lot in the fall. We have a overhead maintenance crew. We have our own very pint-sized gardener. She's hardly taller than the flowers. She does quite a job at the weeding. This is snow clearing in the winter. It's as long as the snow is fluffy, it doesn't make any difference how high it is. We can push the snow off the edges. And that's kind of a blast. You can see we put away all the buildings. We have to do that every fall and bring them back out every spring. Everything, including the castle, is put away. We leave one control box out. We're going to take, and again, as I was recording this, a second hurricane comes moving up the coast. They predicted heavy rains and heavy winds and flash flooding. There was another flop portion, but it did make a mess. There was trash all over the yard, and it took us a couple of days to clean it up. Not any serious damage, though, fortunately. And we did not clear the railroad. We rode that one out as well. One of these days, we're going to make the wrong guess, but for the moment, we're doing well. This is the unscenic portion of the railroad. Everybody's got a part they haven't completed. Mine's about a half an acre. I'm planning to expand soon. The sheep, you see, this is showing the sheep. And my wife are not too happy about the plans, but I think we'll have a few additions, especially now that we're doing dead rail. This is the weather station. It records humidity, temperature, rainfall, and we have a weather vane. Let's take a ride on the main line. wind. It keeps it very active. We're waiting for the flow switchman to throw the switch. Should be completed. There we go. And here is that's the presentation. Any questions?
David, there was one problem. When you had the trains running,
Yeah.
as Doug Scott said, we could not hear your commentary.
Oh, because of the noise?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Hey,
My apologies. It sounds loud in here, but I guess it is not there. In the meantime, I've lost my, oh, there it is. I'm looking for my Zoom screen.
Looks like you had to take a chainsaw out there in a couple of places and heavy.
Oh,
trip.
yeah, we had to cut through some of the shrubs,
Yeah.
but they've all survived, and it looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Does.
It was hard at first to visualize what it would be with just everything raised to 29 inches, and it looked kind of stock in the beginning, but we managed to get some background.
I just turned off your screen, Dave, so we can start to see.
Thank you.
Steve, can I suggest something?
Sure.
If you put these up on YouTube, I can make a link to it from the site under our list of clinics.
Okay.
And it's much better than trying to put it on our site.
Okay. I can do that. I'm going to stop the recording when there are no more questions about the clinic.
I hope you all enjoyed it.
oh, definitely.
We have a lot of fun running it, and I wish.
Nice work.
I hope you guys can come down and visit.
Oh, when does the winter set in and you gotta?
We usually take it down after Halloween, depending on the weather. We take it down, and it takes about 2 days to fully dismantle it and store it.
Now, I have a question. You said that with your 3 grandsons, you did essentially the elevated bench work in a week?
Yes.
In a week?
A week.
And that, okay. So basically what you had were what? Concrete blocks.
Okay. They're called floating deck bases. When I decided to do this, I wanted to do as easy as possible. It's very difficult digging in my yard. A lot of branches, a lot of roots,
Yeah.
a lot of rocks. I found 2 railroads, one in Canada, one in Oregon, that had used this system successfully. And I contacted the manufacturer, and what he described was this was used in areas where you, for one reason or another, could not dig, and you wanted to put up a deck or some structure. And the concept is that the frost heaves will rise in the winter a few inches, but they always settle back the way they were. So I was prepared to do some maintenance every spring. As a matter of fact, in my shed, I have a place for a crowbar, figuring I would need to kind of shift things back and forth a little bit. But it's been up now since 2017, and there's been absolutely no movement. It runs perfectly. You know, having run the ground railroad for years, once you go in the spring and set up, it took almost 3 or 4 weeks to get the track back, you know, all the shorts out, all the dead spots. It took that long to get operational. But with the racetrack, I run all winter. The buildings aren't there, but I'll run the trains around. And then in the spring, I just put the buildings up and I'm operational by early May.
So the
This year, May
basic,
2nd, I was operational, and
Yeah.
I probably will be operational into November.
so
Have
the
you built
ba-
a plow yet, Dave?
Was that, please?
Have you built a plow yet?
Yes, I have a plow sled, I guess you would call it. It's a small, I was in the pictures, a small gondola car, and weighted it down with granite blocks and mounted a plow. I purchased the plow from a gentleman who did it. That was the first piece that was what do you call that? Printed piece of equipment, and mounted on the front, and it runs great. I put an engine behind that, and then I'll run the sweeper to do a fine cleaning of the tracks, and I'm ready to go.
So let me get back to the base. So you've got these concrete pre-made things that are basically deck supports
Yep.
for places where you can't actually dig down into the dirt.
They
And
have
it
an
contains a
indentation to put a
4x4?
4x4 in it.
Okay, then you
They're
slide the
all-
4x4 into it, and then you put
I
your
put a
basic-
2-inch 2 by 6 inches planks across the top. You can span almost 9 feet, but I did about every 6 feet. I put a support.
Did you
Once
use-
you round the corner, it's like a modular railroad. Once you go around the first corner and complete the circle, it's absolutely rigid. It's unbelievable how solid it is. You would think that it would tip one way or the other, but it all kind of tightens together.
And did you, I assume you use pressure treated lumber?
All pressure treated lumber.
Mhm.
Screwed it together. And it went up very quickly. The biggest trick was you're leveling it and making sure it stays level. But the actual assembly of each section went up very quickly. We used an electric screwdriver, obviously, and the boys did the labor, leveling the ground and bringing the stones in and everything. And little Ryan was running around. He was the gopher.
Did you have the 4x4s pre-cut, or did you cut them yourselves?
Oh, we cut them ourselves. Because to keep everything level and to have that gradual 2% grade on the
Yep.
two sides, we had to kind of play with the cuttings on the 4x4s.
What did you use to cut the 4x4s?
I had a table saw, a chop saw.
Mhm.
I set up right in the middle of the railroad.
Mhm. It
To my-
then became the prototype sawmill, right?
Yes, to Grandma's horror, the boys were running. The two older boys ran the saw. I treat a lot of these projects. The boys all help me as a training program, so they learned all about proper procedures, using the guards, safety goggles, and keeping their hands clear and whatnot. They have to learn somehow.
Yeah.
So
I need supervision.
I taught the two grandsons to drive too. I won't tell you how old they were, but by the time they were pretty good drivers.
So, okay. Any other questions about the clinic before I stop recording?
When's the expansion?
What's that?
When's the expansion?
Oh, I'm thinking, seriously, maybe in the spring, there might be another passing track or something, I think. And it's just, I've got to the point where it's finished, and I know I got the itch to do more building, that's all.
All
I have
right.
a suggestion.
Yes,
You should run it all the way towards your house so you can run the internal trolley thing out onto the outside. I'm sure your wife would like that.
it's on the right, the inside G-scale layout is on the right wall, it would just be a clean cut right through the
Clean
wall.
cut, easy.
You know?
Just surprise her on Mother's Day.
Well, that's how I got into her laundry room. Those that have seen my layout, I have a spur that runs right into her laundry room, right over a washing machine. I did that when she left the house. So cut a wall, and
Fait
a hole in
accompli.
the wall, put up the tunnel openings, and ran the track right into the laundry room. So,
Eminent
But,
domain can be a very powerful force.
So is Darth Vader.
All right, any other questions on our clinic before we collapse into a general discussion? Just so I can stop recording. I'm gonna stop recording unless I hear a question about the clinic in 3,
Thank you all.
1. Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Hey.